Hello, and welcome to Cox Local Edition on CNN Headline News. My name is Jessica Carver, and I am with Cox Communications. Today we have two very special guests in the studio with us. We have Steve Delphin, who is with the National Credit Union Foundation, and Joe Thomas, who is the President and CEO of Fairfax County Federal Credit Union. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
So, first of all, can you tell me about the National Credit Union Foundation and what it is that you do?
Sure, Jessica. We're the national foundation for the credit union movement, and credit unions are not-for-profit cooperative financial services institutions. So our role is to help credit unions better serve low-wealth, modest-means households and working families, much like Joe and the Fairfax County Federal Credit Union do in the program we're going to talk about today. And this is work that's very important right now in our environment with what's happening in the financial services sector. And it's also important for the growth of credit unions because in emerging markets like the Hispanic market, that's where credit unions are going to see their growth in the future.
And where does the National Credit Union Foundation get its funding?
Sure. The foundation gets its funding from within the industry. We're what's called an intra-industry foundation. We are a 501c3 tax-exempt charitable organization, but we raise our monies mostly from credit unions that invest in these special CDs, and then we get the interest off of those CDs and build kind of a synthetic endowment. And that's what drives our programs. We have about $300 million in that endowment, so the interest off that allows us to make grants like the one we're going to talk about here today.
Right, and speaking of the grant, Joe, Fairfax County Federal Credit Union just received that grant. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. As a recipient of the National Credit Union Foundation's initiative grant, Fairfax County Federal Credit Union has been able to expand our educational opportunities to the local Hispanic community. With that grant that we received, we've been able to increase our educational output and our products and services to increase savings and ultimately generate wealth for their local families.
And does Fairfax County Federal Credit Union have any programs for immigrants without Social Security numbers or Social Security cards?
As a matter of fact, we do. We have a program called Safe Accounts in which individuals who come to this country and they don't qualify or don't have a Social Security number, they're still required by the IRS to have a tax identification number. And we've become now an agent in order for people to come to us, and we'll be able to act on their behalf and get them this TIN number or tax identification number.
How exactly does that work for the immigrants? Do they come into your organizations or visit the website? How exactly?
They can come into one of our offices, and we have the forms in which then we will submit those forms to the IRS on their behalf.
Okay, and Steve, how is our current economic situation affecting your programs?
Well, the economy is affecting all nonprofits and all charities in negative ways. We were fortunate that we looked in advance and we saw this coming, so we were able to put together a pretty healthy reserve fund, which is going to allow us to continue funding these programs at the current rate where we are. But people need to understand that the economy is tough. If they have a chance and they can make contributions to whatever charity it is, it's really important. Within the credit union industry, credit unions have been supportive of the National Foundation, so we're on solid footing still.
Joe, how can our viewers find out more about Fairfax County Federal Credit Union?
Sure. The easiest way to get in contact with us is through our website at fairfaxcu.org.
Well, thank you both so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. And thank you for joining us on Cox Local Edition on CNN Headline News.